If there's one thing that I really do like about Ushio and Tora so far, and yes, I know this is only the second volume, but it's very noticeable that Kazuhiro Fujita really does try to make scenes dynamic, to give scenes a very cinematic feel to them. They don't feel flat, they feel like they're kind of flowing from one panel to the next. And where, some mangas are like that. Some mangas where the action implemented doesn't necessarily flow from one scene to the next, while in other mangas, action sequences tend to flow seamlessly throughout. Even in instances where there's no action to be found. Meaning that there are scenes where the action isn't like somebody throwing a punch or a beam blast or whatever like that. The action is like the occurrence of just everyday life, of just people walking by, or of someone interacting with objects they've never seen before and such. Stuff like that, majority of the time it becomes a manga, it would just be like just a glance at said item. But in this instance, it's like you're seeing the character slowly but surely like lifting their hand up while the item, becomes more into their focus. Which you don't really see manga artists doing this kind of thing. And the reason for that is because essentially it's a waste of time. Because you're trying to get a story across in the span of, or at least part of a story across, in the span of 19 pages. Unless it's a gag manga, then that's usually going to be just about 15 pages. But then again, there are some series that do cut their page numbers pretty fucking short. But Ushio and Tora ain't one of those fucking series. And so just like Inuyasha, okay, Ushio and Tora, the way the author has the story set up, there's smaller stories that then connect into each other in a sense. And the way they connect into each other is more so of character dynamics and getting us used to not only the dynamic of the duo of Ushio and Tora, but the dynamic of other characters within their world, you see. Okay, so the first story is actually the end of the last story we got from Volume 1 in the story of Reiko and her demonic father. Now, I don't mean in the sense of her father was like abusive or some shit. No, her father actually was a very loving, kind man, but because of his wife left him for one of his own students, and that just broke him to the point where every last bit of hatred, resentment, all that he had felt towards his wife, he put into his final painting, and he's been basically the essence haunting that painting, and also, without really realizing it, also been the essence of haunting Reiko's life. Making it to where nobody wants to hang out with her, nobody wants anything to do with her, and she wants nothing to do with anybody because of the fact that anyone that gets close to her always gets hurt. But of course, Ushio, who is an aspiring artist, even though he fucking sucks, and Tora, who, well, is an aspiring yokai, preventing other yokais from eating Ushio. It's so funny kind of saying that. But anyways, they step in, they intervene, and the situation is handled. And of course, Reiko gets to meet her father. Well, gets to not right. Yeah, that sounds so fucking stupid. Gets to meet her father. What? No. Gets to see her father for one more time before he ascends into heaven in his human form. Because Ushio broke the painting, or rather stabbed the painting with a beast spear, which pretty much got rid of all demonic presence that was in it. So her father has been released from the curse that he had placed upon himself, essentially. Now, the majority of the volume focuses on this story about these giant-ass flying heads. And apparently, these flying heads were impaled by this giant-ass stone that had 5 points to it, called a seal stone. But of course, you know, modern Japan doesn't believe in ancient tradition. They're like, nah, fuck that hocus pocus bullshit. You know, we're gonna lift this stone out of here, and we're gonna build a fucking shopping mall and some, you know, that way Japanese girls can buy cute shit. And the heads were like, hey, we're free, motherfuckers. They started just eating everybody. They're like, hey, let's look for this Mizaki bitch. Yeah, that bitch that fucking sealed us up. But of course, the person they're looking for is no longer alive, because it's been 100 years. So, instead, they're now searching for an ancestor of the woman with the same look, face, whatever. And of course, along the way, they kill a bunch of humans. Mainly women that they keep thinking is the woman they're looking for, but realize, that ain't the bitch we want. Fuck, let's eat her. Now let's go and really find this bitch. But, okay, who is the girl they're looking for? Her name is Inoue Mayuko. Now, Inoue is a lot different from most other Japanese girls her age. She does not like a lot of accessories. She likes to basically keep to herself. It seems like she finds more comfort in cozying up with a warm cup of tea and reading a book than being out and about, having small talk, and looking at clothes that she may not ever get to wear. I kind of wonder if she's autistic. Maybe not. Whatever. But she has a striking resemblance to this woman. And the person that put these two together at first is Ushio, who initially believes that Tora has been going out and killing construction workers. Until, of course, he realizes by getting to see a different perspective of the situation that Tora has nothing to do with this. Now, what's really great about this whole entire little arc is that we get more character development for Tora. And Tora, for the first time, is actually thrown into the city of Japan. The city was called Kagami City. And if you know your Japanese, Kagami means mirror, I believe. I almost said it means window, but no. Window is Mado. Kagami is mirror. So, he's in Mirror City, which is a very strange name for a city. But, anyways, this is Tora's first time in modern civilization, and there's a lot of things that he doesn't really understand. Like the fact that a lot of people in modern civilization wear cologne, and they wear perfume, and how a lot of people like to have accessories, you know, they like to have piercings and bracelets, and even accessories that, you know, people need to wear, like glasses. And so Tora sees, like, all this shit as, like, different forms of talismans to where he can't eat people. But there's Mayuko. Mayuko wears nothing of the sort. She just dresses normally, has no perfumes, has no accessories, and once again, I think she is autistic, because she finds accessories to be bothersome, and my guess is the reason why she probably wears no perfume is because it more than likely overstimulates her senses. Because, well, in case you don't know, with autistic people, overstimulation is a major thing. well, okay, not a major thing. It's a thing, and I should know this because I am autistic myself. Which is why, to be honest, these glasses got really, It took a really long time for me to get used to my glasses, but now they're essentially just like a part of my face. I know that sounds so fucking stupid, and it sounds stupid the minute I start saying it, but I digress. But also, like, certain lights and sounds and smells really bother me. And when I was reading this and seeing as how it didn't say outright that it bothered her, but it was just one of those things where it was like as if the author was going like, "Hey, read between the lines here." At least that's how I felt about it, you know. Oh, another case in point. Seeing the camera's reflection on my glasses is driving me insane. Yeah. And also, this lighting here, I don't fucking like it either. So those are other things, which is why I'm trying to get through this review as quick as possible, and also going to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up. That way, the YouTube algorithm will know that this content is worth watching. And if you think this content is worth watching, go on and share it with your friends and family. Also, if you did subscribe, are you forgetting to do something? Hit that notification icon. Make sure that bell is a ring-a-ding-dinging. And let's go back to this review. Okay, so I said Tora. Okay. He is just kind of thrown into the mix here. And when he sees Mayuko, he is like, thank Lord in heaven, thank Almighty, thank everybody that there's a human that does not smell like shit. Well, in fact, you know, all these people probably smell disgustingly really good. But to Tora, you might as well be taking a diaper bag with month-old baby shit on it and kind of just, you know, wafting it right in his fucking face. Because that's how fucking bad it smells for him. But it turns out that the minute Tora decides to eat her, these five fucking dickheads just show up and decide to try to take shit for themselves. Well, Ushio shows up also at the same time, and now it's Tora and Ushio versus these five heads. But Ushio gets kind of binded, Tora does his own thing, and Tora almost ends up becoming the savior of the day. And in a sense, he does save Mayuko, but not in the same sense of why Ushio would be saving her. You see, Ushio would be saving her because he has a heart of justice. Tora is only saving her because, well, it's his prey, and he claims her, and these five dickheads are trying to take his prey away from him. So yeah, like I mentioned in my last review of Ushio and Tora, Tora's objective, the reason why he does what he does, is usually for selfish means, while Ushio does what he does because of selfless means. Big difference there. And at the end of the day, Tora eats his first hamburger, which, if you remember in the anime, and I believe this is in both versions of the anime, we see Tora actually enjoying it, and this ends up being like Tora's thing. The hamburger is kind of like Ryuk's apple, which makes me wonder, if Takeshi Obata and the other dude that is part of the Death Note team, if they were fans of Ushio Tora and decided to implement that whole like aspect of Ryuk, constantly eating apples from Ushio to Tora, to where Tora is eating hamburgers. And I might be wrong. I think I'm right about this. That Ushio to Tora came out prior to Death Note coming out. Then again, I might be fucking wrong about that entirely. Alright, the last story that we get, well, it's start of a story, and we're more likely gonna get the end result of the story in the third volume, and that is the story of Hyo. Now, Hyo is a man who has been looking for a yokai that looks very similar. Now, Hyo is a man that has been on the hunt for a yokai that has left his left eye unusable and scarred, as well as this very same yokai killed his wife and child. And so he's been looking for his yokai, essentially hunting yokai, just trying to see if he can either get information or lure this dude out. And while killing these two yokais in Hong Kong, he witnesses on TV the situation of the stone demon from the first volume, the giant ass fucking centipedes. And with that, he sees Ushio and Tora. He sees the dynamic duo and decides, this is my perfect opportunity to go and fly over to Japan and confront the creature myself. But while he's there in Japan, he starts like beating up people, and Ushio comes to these people's aids, and him and Ushio, essentially they just start fighting. And it seems like this guy is so in a trance of bloodlust that he's really not thinking straight. And I get the feeling that Ushio is sensing that and kind of seeing that too. But here's the thing though. This guy has been fighting yokai for probably a good minute. So his skill level is actually a lot higher than Ushio's is. And if it wasn't for the Beast Spear protecting him at the very end of this volume, Ushio might have been killed. Or rather, not killed, but his eye would have been just completely, utterly fucking maimed. And with that being said, what do you guys think of Ushio to Tora Volume 2? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. If you guys would be so kind to subscribe to the channel, gives you a thumbs up. That way the YouTube algorithm will know that my content is good to watch. And to hit that bell, make sure that bell is a ring-a-ding-dingin'. That way you will know when I put out another video. Also, if you enjoy my content, go ahead and share it with your friends and family. Let's get more people to watch me act how I do. Alright, and with that being said, I'm done embarrassing myself, so bye.